The courtroom was dead silent, and not the normal kind of hush. It was the type of eerie silence that slithers over your skin and squeezes your chest. Everyone was holding their breath. Because this wasn't just a regular day in court. Oh no, this was the day the empire Sean Diddy, Combs' glittering, untouchable, billion-dollar empire finally got hit where it hurt the most. His money. When Diddy strolled in, he looked like he always does. Stone face, expensive suit, that I got this energy. But underneath, baby, the cracks were showing. His hands kept twitching, his eyes were darting, and as the walls of that courtroom closed in, they weren't just metaphorical anymore. They were real, cold, and lined with consequences. Then the judge cleared his throat, holding a stack of damning papers, and everyone leaned forward like a wave. The press, the victims, the entourage, even Diddy's old industry friends, they were all there to witness the moment. And then came the blow. We have found credible evidence of deliberate financial obfuscation, rapid asset conversion, and trust reallocation, the judge said, his voice as sharp as a knife. And then, the court hereby approves the emergency motion to freeze all domestic and international financial accounts directly or indirectly controlled by Mr. Sean Combs, including shell corporations, joint partnerships, and subsidiary trusts. A collective gasp shot across the courtroom. Not a movie gasp, a real, raw, oh my God kind of moment. Diddy just stared, frozen, as if the judge had just yanked the crown right off his head for half a minute. His lawyers didn't even flinch. They were too stunned to speak. And honey, that was only the beginning. The prosecutor stood up, cool and commanding. Your Honor, we request permission to display a visual breakdown of the assets impacted. The lights dimmed. The screen lit up, and baby, slide after slide ripped the facade clean off Diddy's empire. $712 million, 0 cents in real estate across New York, Miami, and LA. $86 million, 0 cents in hidden art, some pieces unregistered locked away in a Manhattan vault. $200 million, 0 cents in offshore accounts. $47 million, 0 cents in crypto moved between anonymous wallets. Just in the last 90 days, $168 million, 0 cents sitting in trusts, PR firms, and gifting accounts linked to Combs Enterprises. Final slide. Total frozen assets, $1,243 million, 0 cents. Immediate freeze. Access terminated. Whew, it was brutal. And the prosecutor wasn't done. These weren't just bank accounts she snapped. They were the arteries of a silencing machine. Every NDA, every hush money deal, every gift used to shut someone up paid through these accounts. This freeze isn't punishment. It's disarmament. People in the gallery, some victims, some just onlookers, were crying, shaking. They were watching the very machine that once buried their voices start to crumble. A ledger at a time. But then, get this, 2 federal officers walked in carrying a sleek black case. Inside, a tablet labeled Vault Ledger Villa Eloa, last accessed 2:14 a.m. April 5th. Yes, Diddy's secret digital vault. Hidden under his LA estate, time-stamped logs of withdrawals, luxury assets, and even documents being shuffled around right after subpoenas were issued. Girl, this wasn't sloppy. This was intentional, it was strategic, and it reeked of guilt. And then the room froze again. That vault log included video surveillance. January 14, 2024. Diddy walks into the vault alone. He's got a black duffel bag, pulls out a tablet, types something, slides the bag in. Amount, $2,300,000. 0 cents in cold hard cash. And guess what? That happened less than 48 hours after the court demanded his asset disclosure. Baby, this man was preparing for war. But it was the next twist that gave everyone chills. A secret message was found in the vault's logs. If this ever goes public, bury it under generosity. People forget when they're distracted by a donation. You could feel the shift in the air. Because this wasn't just about hiding money. It was about manipulation. Calculated manipulation. Control. The prosecutor's voice dropped. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't wealth. This is weaponized silence. She kept going. She showed the court 3 years' worth of transaction logs, hundreds of flag payments with vague notes like media relations or reputation alignment. These weren't payments for services. These were payoffs. She clicked on one. Amount. $250,000, 0 cents. Note, discretion protocol initiation. That payment came 10 hours after a confirmed incident at Biddy's East Hampton property. The victim never went public, just vanished. And there it was, a pattern. A disgusting, expensive pattern. Then came the tape. The vault surveillance, again, and baby, it wasn't just money moving around. It was Diddy physically confirming transactions, moving cash and hiding assets as if he knew exactly when and where the law was coming. The prosecutor turned to the jury and didn't hold back. You've seen the money, but now you've seen the intent. He didn't just pay for silence. He engineered an economy of erasure. He built an entire empire on making people disappear without a trace. And just when it felt like it couldn't go deeper, oh, it went deeper. She pulled out testimony from a man no one even knew existed, a former financial assistant at Combs Enterprises. He swore in, then sat at the stand with eyes heavy and a voice full of regret. He said it plain and simple. I processed ledger entries, transferred money between shell accounts, approved silent payouts, and yes, Diddy authorized them all. He called them incentives for privacy. He described how one massive payout, $3,500,000, 0 cents, was given in December 2022. A note? Complete silence for year end. And the woman who got that money, she had footage, proof. She threatened to go public. Then she disappeared. Not in a violent way, just vanished. No job history, no socials, no trace. The courtroom could barely breathe. And this brave man, this whistleblower, said what everyone was thinking. When you're around that much money, that much power, you start to believe you're just a small cog, that it's not your fault. But it is. The prosecutor didn't let up. She showed them an email direct from Diddy himself. If they want to bring me down, they'll have to take everything I own, because that's what protects me. Well, baby, today they did. You'd think that was the climax, right? That the vault, the ghost payments, and the courtroom gasps were the end? Oh, honey, that was just intermission, because next, the prosecutor pulled out a folder so thin, yet it hit harder than a brick. Your Honor, she said, this is a Treasury transaction log of payments between March 2021 and February 2024. And then she showed the receipts, line after line of payouts with ridiculous notes like urban alignment, reputation realignment, and the worst, healing initiatives. Girl, please. Every transaction, every single one was either hush money, bribes, or camouflage shame. But then the screen flashed something no one was ready for, a hidden memo. If exposure begins, declare asset freeze as politically motivated. Activate celebrity defense. Position as a targeted success story. Boom. That was it. The courtroom lost its mind. Not loud, not chaos, just ice-cold silence. The kind that happens when everyone knows the mask just slipped. Because this wasn't defense. This was a battle plan. Diddy and his team didn't just prepare for backlash, they trained for it, rehearsed it, built a script for how to survive it. But guess what? The truth didn't care. Then came another surprise witness. A woman, elegant, poised, mid-40s. Former director of public partnerships at one of Diddy's so-called charitable foundations. And baby, when she opened her mouth, jaws hit the floor. I worked with the financial team, she began. I approved documents for spending that never went to their causes. Ghost contractors, fake invoices, silent settlements. I once filed a $2 million 0 cents donation to an education program that didn't even exist. And when asked who told her to do that, she didn't blink. Mr. Combs. Gasp. Again, and then the dagger. She said Diddy once told her during a crisis PR meeting, as long as the money flows and the lights stay bright, nobody asked the right questions. Who? That was the moment everyone realized they weren't just watching a trial. They were watching the autopsy of a reputation. The prosecutor turned to the jury. This wasn't a fall from grace. This was never grace to begin with. It was engineered distraction. A show, a fortress built not of brick, but of illusion. And just when you thought it couldn't go deeper, the IRS came in. That's right. An actual former IRS forensic analyst took the stand, and he laid it all out in cold, brutal numbers. The money didn't vanish, he said. It was rebranded, laundered through luxury assets, charities, and encrypted wallets, deliberately built to survive scrutiny. He pointed to one folder. $97 million, 0 cents routed through shell companies, most unrecoverable, because the goal wasn't spending. It was hiding. And then the grand finale, a silver hard drive seized from Diddy's off-site financial bunker. On it, a file named Witness Protocol Satellite Transfer Timeline. The courtroom held its breath. On the screen, January 2020, $2.10 M rerouted to discretionary marketing. April 2021, $980, 0 cents K to a Cayman-based DJ agency. March 2023, $2.40 M to crypto shell address labeled Satellite Witness Protocol. Wait, what? The prosecutor looked at the judge. Yes, Your Honor. These are coded terms for payouts to individuals with first-hand knowledge of sensitive private events. 11 witnesses. 8 have vanished from public record. Each one received a financial gift shortly before going radio silent. It wasn't silence, it was vanishing. And then the final nail. A pre-written press statement, drafted long before the court case, before the raids, before the subpoenas. Mr. Combs has spent his life creating opportunity and wealth. The storm will pass. He remains focused on healing and service. It was never genuine. It was PR insurance. Lies prepared in advance. The prosecutor's voice dropped to a whisper. This wasn't crisis response. This was survival choreography. A belief that no matter what, money would shield him from truth. But this time, no shield. And then came the verdict. The judge took a long, heavy breath and looked out over the room. In response to the overwhelming evidence, this court hereby seizes all frozen assets under Mr. Combs' control, totaling $1,240,000,000, 0 cents, for restitution to named and unnamed victims. And then, just like that, it was official. His empire, gone. No protected charities, no shield of philanthropy, just rubble. But the prosecutor wasn't finished. She walked forward, calm as ever. We've traced the money. We've unmasked the system. But what we've truly dismantled is the illusion, the fantasy of untouchable power. Then she looked Diddy in the eye. You may have started as an artist, but you became a king. Not a leader, a hoarder, of silence, of control. And now the crown is gone. And baby, it was. Because Diddy didn't just lose a fortune, he lost the illusion that fortune could protect him. His defense didn't speak. His attorneys didn't object. Everyone knew. There was nothing left to say. As the courtroom emptied, some wept. Some clapped silently, and others just stared at the man who once ruled the music world, now just a broken figure in a crumpled designer suit. But the moment that truly hit was when the door shut behind him, and there were no cheers, no clicks of paparazzi cameras, just the sound of a reputation dissolving, because in the end, he didn't lose everything. He never owned it. He never owned it.